It's been like consistent, like 10K above months.
Downloaded it, I checked the date, July of 2021, and then I left my job in September of 2021.
Since then, I've sold websites, I've pivoted my business, I'm no longer doing social media management.
What has been like your highest month?
13K.
It has literally changed my life.
When you were designing on WordPress, were you charging way less? Like, what is that like?
Yeah, way less. I think my first WordPress was like $500.
$500 for a WordPress site versus like up to $5,000 for a show it site.
All right. Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. I am so excited. I know that I sound like a broken record because I start every podcast out by saying I'm so excited, but I genuinely am so excited for this conversation. It's been a long time coming because I have my beautiful student, Ashley, with me, and I've had the pleasure of getting to know you because we just did a live not too long ago on Instagram. So I feel like I'm a little biased because I already adore you, but I knew right away that your story is too good to not share and to bring you on and show people what you're all about. So without further ado, welcome Ashley to the podcast.
Hey, thank you so much. Oh my gosh, it's so crazy to be here, like going from seeing you on TikTok and like seeing some of your videos to now kind of being here and being on the podcast. So thank you for having me.
I love it. Yay. Why don't you fill us in? Like, who is Ashley? Give us like a little synopsis of who Ashley is.
For sure. Yeah. So I'm Ashley. My business is called Identity Alchemy Agency. So I focus specifically on branding and design. My entrepreneurial journey has kind of evolved over time because I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur when I was 17. And I thought, okay, the best way to get started learning business is to work for businesses. So that was my journey for a little while. And then because I loved personal growth so much, it led me into this whole world of personal development, personal growth, all these coaches, consultants, things like this. And so I started off actually working behind the scenes of some coaching businesses, like 7-figure earning coaching businesses.
Okay.
And I got a lot of business education, which was like so cool.
I love
so
it.
valuable, wearing so many different hats.
Yeah.
And that was kind of where I learned like, okay, I actually like design. Like I love, it took me a while to own that one of my core values is beauty. Cause like at the surface level, a lot of people are like, oh, that's, that can be superficial or perceived that way. But, I really came to own that. And over time, I kind of went deeper into, I had my own coaching business for a while, and then it's transformed into my agency now, which I've had for like 2 years. Learned a lot along the way.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love it. It's so cool and fascinating. I actually don't even think that we got into this on the live too. So I'm learning for the first time because we have overlap in that, because I started out as a virtual assistant where I was really immersed into the business side of things and was able to wear many hats, as you know, and really choose, okay, that's in alignment with what I want to do. Ooh, this brings me purpose. I actually feel fulfilled in this. And then that I don't want to do, which I think is one of the most incredible assets that you can have going into entrepreneurship, is learning in that way. And I don't talk about it enough, but if I could scream to the rooftops of like, if you are a virtual assistant and you have enjoyed the design aspect, like lean in, because as you become a specialist at something, then you really have so much room to scale into one area.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like that's such an easily overlooked way to learn, is by actually just working or like working for someone for a while, just to kind of figure out what you like. And then once you find the thing that you like, cool, then go and do that more. But I always felt like I'm personally a college dropout. So like I always felt like I'm getting like real world business education, and I'm getting paid, even if it's not that much at first. And I'm like building relationships and like learning along the way. So yeah, totally agree with you there.
Yeah, the skills are completely transferable. Like everything you learn, nothing is wasted. I always try and tell people that is when they become an entrepreneur, no matter what field they start in, even if that's not their end goal, everything you learn is an asset. Like every single skill that you have is transferable to any business as long as you are a business owner. And even if you end up going back to a job, it'll probably still also help you out. But all of the skills are such assets. So like really investing into yourself is always going to be the best investment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love
for
it. Okay, so fill me in from or like tell me the timeline of like what it looked like. So you dropped out of college. Like give me a timeline of everything.
Yeah, sure. So I dropped out of college. I spent a couple of years just like, I was like, okay, I want to learn business. I'm going to start working for businesses. So, like, had some really wild and crazy job experiences. Like, I worked for this really toxic startup in San Francisco where, like, the boss was absolutely crazy. And I'm like grinding 60 plus hours a week and like barely can afford my rent in San Francisco. Like, so like
Love
craziness there. And then when I got after that, it was like kind of like rock bottom like period of time for me just because like I got so lost in that. And in that time of my life, like didn't like know anyone there and just like
Mm.
became disconnected from myself and my values. So kind of I hit rock bottom and then I just kind of like reconnected with myself like okay, what are my values? Did this like elimination, like I called it like an elimination diet for my life where I just like cut everything,
Mm.
like let things come back in kind of slowly. And it
Mm.
was right around that time when I was like, okay, I'm kind of getting back into myself that I got a job as a like applied for a virtual assistant and they wanted to give me a marketing assistant role. And I was like, it was like $25 an hour. And I remember like jumping up and down, like being so excited. Um, and yeah, that was kind of like how I entered into this world, which I'm so grateful for.
Yeah.
Um, I worked behind the scenes there for a couple of years, and then I got really deeply immersed in the like personal development aspect.
Mm.
So I was like, okay, I want to start my own coaching business. So I did that for about 2.5 years and I hosted women's retreats and stuff like this. But it was always kind of like these two parts of me were separate for a really long time. Like the part of me that loved like design and business, and then this other part of me that loved the personal development side.
Mm.
So I kind of went to like both different ends of the spectrum. And then it was finally like, okay, I see a way that I can bring these two together. And that's kind of like what I'm trying to like constantly infuse into my business now, is like
I
the
love
personal
that.
development piece with the branding and design aspect.
Yeah, I love that. And it's so niche and so attractive to so many people who it's attractive to, like that will help you weed out from other people who don't maybe have that element, but people really value having that integrated into how they show up and what their website is going to be like, what's the energy behind it, all of that. So I love that for you.
Thank
It's
you.
so cool. Yeah. So obviously it's worked well. So I don't even actually know when you found me. You found me on
Yeah.
TikTok, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
When
Yeah.
was that? Like how long ago was that?
So, I mean, I had been following you for like probably over a year, but I would say like the first year of my agency, like doing design and stuff like that, like I was just like really getting my footing. And
Mm-hmm.
then I started kind of following you, and I was probably following you for like close to a year. But it was actually earlier this year, like I had spent like it was like August of last year until about February, March this year that I was just like straight pretty much grinding and, like learning so much because I never like sought out anyone, any education in relation to web design. So it was just figuring everything out as I went. And then, there's just so many things that lessons I had to learn the hard way. Like, a project you think is going to take like 3 months and it ends up taking like 6 to 8 for a website. And then like I heard you share, you look at that and you like calculate how much you made per hour and you're like, what this
Yeah.
is crazy.
Yeah.
Um, so, basically like I kind of earlier this year, I got to the point where I was like pretty consistently doing like 10 to 15K months, but it was a freaking grind and I was
Mm.
exhausted. And I felt like I had heard people talk about burnout before, but I never really kind of knew what that actually felt like.
Mm.
But I'll tell you that like I felt like I just had like such little joy. Like it was like my joy and like my passion for what I loved had kind of disappeared.
Mm.
So I was kind of at that point and I was like looking for solutions and I should have just gone to you straight away, like because I've been following you for a while. But unfortunately, fortunately slash unfortunately, I ended up hiring a business coach and paying them like $18,000. And I had like a, there's takeaways from that experience that I got, like positive things, but like, oh my gosh, it was just like it kind of made things worse. It made things
Oh,
worse. And then after a couple of months, like being in that space, being like, oh my God, like I was like heartbroken. I'm like, I can't believe I spent this much money. Like my business declined and I'm just like feeling lost and like
wow.
struggling. And then that was when I like came to one of your and Willow's master classes. And I was like, I should just like learn from an actual web designer instead of like someone that's trying to sell me this like really crazy like coaching package. It wasn't even what I needed. So yeah.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I hear, unfortunately, that story so much of the time, and especially business people going to business coaches who aren't in the realm of web design and have no knowledge. And most of their other clientele are business coaches. So they are more in alignment with how they operate. And I'm always like, how can they teach you how to run and scale and operate a web design business when they don't have experience? Because it is very different. It is very different. And so I'm sorry that you had that experience. But also, I love that you mentioned that there's always like takeaways. And no matter what, like I'm a strong believer. And when you make an investment, even if it's disappointing and you feel like you didn't have the takeaway of that direct outcome that you were hoping for, there's
Yeah.
going to be another outcome that maybe you aren't even aware of yet, that it's the reason why you invested into it. And it's a learning lesson, even if it's like, fuck, I just spent 18K on what?
Yeah.
But
100%.
yeah. So
Yeah.
you came to the masterclass. You have designed your day rate. That's like the main thing that's boosting you, right?
Yes. And and I have the library too, and I'm going to be getting into wealthy web designer soon.
Love
Because
it.
I'm like, I know I still have so much more to learn and it's so
Mm,
exciting. But literally just design your day rate. It's been so liberating because again, I was feeling so burnt out. Like my business was such a grind and it was because
mm,
I was willing to work really hard. And that can get you to a certain point. But now it's like I'm able to take that work ethic that I cultivated through that process, but like combine
mm.
it with really smart offer structure and business model. And I feel so relieved now because it's like that is a really solid foundation for me that I can take into the next level of my business, but also my life.
Mm. I love your story because a lot of people have a very linear path where it's like they don't have experience and then they'll go through multi web designer and then they'll wait to get to a point that you were almost already at. You were hitting 10 to 15K months and then they move on to design your day rate or passive passion project. But you had already had that, in some sense, like the foundation, and then jumped right into design your day rate. And obviously you've had insane results that we'll get to. But I think it's such a testament that simplifying allows you to scale.
Yeah.
And that is the exact reason why day rates is so powerful. Because when you are already in this business dynamic where things are taking so long, you think it takes 3 months and then it takes 9 months and you're burnt out, and the client communication, I don't think people even realize how taxing ongoing client communication actually is until you're in it and you're like, holy fuck, this is insane.
I
But
track time for that too. It's crazy to see those numbers of just how long communication can take over an extended period of time.
yeah, and you have to bill for that. Even if it's in your head, even if you charge, a package or whatever, like if you are looking at costs and then if you start actually looking at what is required for me to be on this project, and that means every little thought, even you sitting down for dinner and thinking about it, that's you investing into the project. Those are all billable hours. And so when something takes months, you are literally sometimes making, like, I've done the math on some of the projects that I did in the beginning.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing. Like, it is
Yeah.
actual like $3 an hour. I'm like, sick. I
Yeah.
got my back.
I would love to add to that though too, because like I completely agree with you. But what I do love about web design specifically, and you've talked, like I've heard you talk about it, and it's so true, is that your web design is like a billboard for your business. So, even if you end up barely making money off of a website, like at least when you're first getting started, like I look back on some of the projects that I did and I'm like, I know I barely made anything from that. But, when I look back at it, I can see like, oh, well, this person, this client introduced me to this person or to
Mm,
this person. So yes, that's not ideal, but like that's such a cool aspect of web design too, is that you like your websites advertise for you.
yeah. Yeah. That's a really good point. Like, it's not always the money exchange that you have. It also can just be a push in the right direction, whether it's one perfect dream client that you actually do make money on from that connection, or maybe you put it on Pinterest and you got 3 clients that you love from it, whatever it might be. It is, you can leverage it in other ways other than just making money on it, which is cool. Yeah, so true. So let's talk day rates. Um,
Sure.
I want to know, before we get into the numbers, I know people are like, just tell us already. But before we get into the numbers, I want to know what it was like actually making the transition from having ongoing long-term projects to having this like hyper expedited package. Cause I know most people who want to explore it, but the fear of like getting everything they need prior, the pressure of it, or what if something goes wrong, or what if they don't like it, all of the what ifs, I think it's preventing them. So I'm curious from your perspective, what was that actually like?
Yeah, I mean, so that transition is like I'm still in it. It's still a process, but I'm so grateful that I'm on the path of this transition and I've already like learning so much. Like the fact that, even the fact that I'm able to build a website for someone in the amount of time that I am now compared to like the total extreme version of like a client project taking like 9 months to build a website for like
Yeah.
crazy. It's like it's miraculous. And so like, I do feel like for me, like, because I was so used to working the other way, there's still like certain things that I'm unlearning. Cause like I was so used to hand holding like every step of the way. Like, I didn't give my clients for a while, like, I didn't give my clients anything to fill in. It was just like everything was on a Zoom call and it was very high touch. And like, part of that is nice, but after a while, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of energy, and it's just not the most effective way to do things. So part of me is like still learning to let go of like the hand holding and like
Mm.
trust them to have their own process. Um, but yeah, overall, like I'm still going through with my beta clients and I'm getting better every time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'll also add to that too, because on the other side, like at this point, Willow and I have invested a ton, and it's fun. I always love to bounce ideas off Willow because he is on like the total consumer side. He's not a web designer. He's never built his websites. He only ever has been on that like client side.
Yeah.
And I think we both could agree on this, but like he would never want to get on Zoom call after Zoom call after Zoom call, giving all of that information, right? So,
Yeah.
like, the more you can actually streamline it for the client, the
Yeah.
better. And I don't know where the original mindset that we all kind of got conditioned with is like, in order for it to be valuable, we have to handhold and we need to do everything for them. Like, no, people actually want automation. Like, why do you think AI is around? Like, people are craving ease. And that is, you can implement that into your business and actually provide an even better client experience for them, believe it or not. So I think
Yeah.
that's such a good thing to bring up.
Yeah, yeah. One of the things that I love about it too, that like honestly like makes my heart so happy is that before knowing that like my websites would take so long, like 3 to 6 months essentially to build, I have to charge a much higher price point. And so what that means is that like First of all, that's not as accessible for as many business owners, especially the type of business owners that I like to work with, which are ones that are kind of like in transition, like
Mm,
they're like between their brand identities, basically. So it wasn't as accessible. It was harder to get clients. I couldn't work with as many clients.
yeah.
And so what I'm able to do now is like, I'm able to charge less, make more, help more people. And I can still have that like high touch. I still have that high touch option available for people that really want that like hand holding, like being held experience because maybe they have some deeper stuff they want to discover. But like now I'm like seeing so many possibilities for so many more business owners I can help in different types of businesses, like
Yeah.
local businesses that I can now help because of this structure. So it's just really exciting.
Yeah, yeah, totally. You can charge less, making it more accessible. You make more money because you can scale it up and do more. You also could hire out a junior designer and then really scale up, and you can impact and serve so many people. Literally is a win-win-win. Like there's no other
Yeah.
way to see it. That's the
Yeah.
coolest thing.
That's
Yeah.
next on my list, by the way, the junior designer. Just gonna throw this out there because I heard Sammy say that she
I,
had a junior designer reach out to her through your podcast. So I'm just
yeah.
gonna put that into the universe.
Okay, junior designer. If you want, no, I love that so much. I love that. Actually, I have a ton of students who are going that route. Like this year, they hired. We've had a couple of students that I know have hired like a total, like part-time project based, all the way up to being a full-time employee, which I think is so cool. And it shows how big a web design business can be in even needing that level of support, but then also being able to financially justify having like a full-time employee. It's mind-blowing. It's so cool. And it really shows what's possible. But so you took designer day rate, and I know the number, but I just want to hear you say it. So what have you made from day rates since launching?
Yeah, since launching my day rate offer, I've generated close to $22,000. And also it happened very quickly. Like I invested in the course on a Saturday, completed it on a Sunday, launched my offer by a Thursday, sold my first client that same night. So like it happened very quickly.
Literally
Yeah.
insane. I always think I need to invest into a noisemaker. You know, when you listen to like cheesy, like the old school like TV shows, it'd be like do 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 or like cha-ching, and you like click it. I need one of those because I like need to play. Maybe I'll insert it here. Okay. But we need like an actual like cha-ching because that is insane and so cool. Talk about an ROI. I'm also glad just because I think this way, I'm glad that you made back your investment from the high ticket coach in this,
Yes.
like
Yes. Yes, but I also have a business model now that like I'm so excited about, feels
yeah.
aligned, and that gives me a foundation to build into what my vision is for next year. Like, so it's just, it's been such a gift. Like I look back and I'm like, oh, I wish, I would have done it so much sooner just because
It's
I could have saved myself a lot of time. But it's
yeah.
also part of the process.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Well, I'm so proud of you and the journey that you've come to, and I'm so excited for what's next. Truly, like if you're able to do that, you're able to do anything. I truly believe that. I'm curious because we do have a lot of students that I would say don't progress to the day rate simply because of everything I mentioned before of just like the fear of them not being able to do it or whatever it might be. What would you say to them? And like if they have been thinking about it and they maybe are on the fence of getting designer day rate or taking that next step and implementing a day rate, what would you say to them?
I would say like just do it. It makes a lot of sense, honestly. Like, yeah, it's scary. I'm still going through with my initial beta clients. So my process isn't even fully perfected yet. But my clients are still so happy. They're so excited to have the opportunity to like work with me at the price point. And the beta structure that you teach in the course works so well. If you're afraid that you're not going to be able to do it, but then you set your price and you promote it at 50% off, and you just like set clear expectations with people and let them know like, hey, you're going to get a great website that you love. This is how we intend to do it. And I might be learning as I go through the process. So I just, want your grace and, feedback. People are so like, I'm working with some really incredible clients right now. They're just so happy, and so I'd say like, if you do the beta, there's really nothing to be worried about because you're going to, and it's going to work out.
Yeah. Yeah. And talk about an ROI. That's insane. And also so cool because it's not going to stop. And also speaking on 2025, because you said you were really excited for what's to come. I'm curious, what is to come? What's your vision for 2025?
Yeah, I'm so excited because I actually like this is the first time in a long time where I feel like I'm, it's like you can look back at times in your life and you have certain dreams or visions of what you want to create. But then like, when those things don't happen or they take longer, sometimes it's easy to become discouraged over time. But like literally where I am right now is I have clarity on what my next year is going to look like. And literally inside myself, it just feels possible. Like I'm just like, yeah, happen, So what I'm excited about creating in 2025 is I plan to focus on my website in a day and website in a week offer. And, like just running the numbers and also building out some of my templates. Like if I do one website in a week and then 5 website days in a month, that's like, I think it's like between 30 and 40K just out alone. So that's pretty incredible. I plan to start with that first. And then what I want to do from there is take my website in a day once it's perfected and create a version of that that's for local businesses, like more businesses, specifically pharmacies that want to focus on wellness and also beauty businesses.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So much expansion, so much possibility. And we need to get you a junior designer for that.
Yes.
Because that will be a major help.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So cool. I love it. Well, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story and just being so open. And I know you will probably get your DMs flooded because people will be so inspired by you and like want to become your best friend. And also hopefully your junior designer. So thank you.
Say, hey, message me on Instagram. Yeah.
I love it. Well, thank you so much. And where can people come hang out with you, by the way, speaking of Instagram?
You can find me on Instagram. My username is my name, Ashley C. Dyer. And my website is identityalchemyagency.com.
I love it. And also for everyone listening or watching, I have everything linked down below so you can easily click through and go hang out with her. Well, thank you so much. And with that, we'll see you guys on the next episode. Mwah! You guys, Ashley's story is incredible and so inspiring, but you can have the same exact story. I promise you. Designer day rate is the answer. I'm not kidding. 2025 is the year of day rates. If you have been on the fence and you are ready to literally make a $1,000 investment and turn into a $22,000 cash flow, that's just the beginning. It is absolutely insane what can happen. And most of the student successes that you see of them making money at this caliber is from day rates. It's from VIP days. It's from website and weeks. You will learn every single thing that you need to know on how to launch it, how to structure it, how to deliver it, every single thing that you need to know. Use the code actually SCALE15. That's SCALE 15. And I'll give you 15% off design your day rate because I want you to get your hands on it. That means it is less than $1,000 investment. Literally, she made a 22x on her investment. That's an insane ROI. So I want you to get your hands on it. Make this year the most amazing financial year you've ever had. Get design your day rate today. Hold up and don't stop, baby.